And the owner turns around, the fuck was what? I was just standing here.
Anyway, welcome to the Redeye Stream number 221. This week's topic is a new social credit system. Sounds like a great idea, right, Jensen? Don't you want the government watching everything you look at on the internet? You might want to check that Pornhub search. You might want to fix that,
Good
Jensen.
point.
It's not the Pornhub search he's got to worry about. It's the Cannibals Are Us channel.
Hey, nothing wrong with Cannibals Are Us. Good channel. They provide some good quality entertainment, sir. Thank you.
Slightly
And
elite.
some good recipes. Don't worry, or don't forget about that.
Oh, no,
Well, hey, didn't you hear? You're not allowed to watch porn or child porn at Starbucks anymore. Did you guys see that?
Child porn anywhere. What the fuck?
No, seriously. You're not allowed to watch porn in Starbucks anymore.
Oh, I think you can watch child porn in like Thailand or somewhere sick like that.
Yeah, no, it's real.
No, I don't think you watch child porn in Israel. Maybe it's Turkey.
Well,
But then-
obviously in Mexico. Shut the. Hold on. Be right back.
Yeah, China's
He's yelling at a bird.
credit system. So there's going to be a lot more starving Chinese people.
Did you?
Unless they're good people and they do exactly what their government tells them, then
So there's going to be a lot more starving Chinese people.
yeah.
Yes. All hail Winnie the Pooh, the leader of the free. Notice the air quotes, even though you can't see them. Country of China.
Oh, hold on, I thought Winnie the Pooh was running North Korea. Okay, who's fucking about with the microwave?
No, I'm fucking about with my oven.
Ah,
It just beeps when I push a button.
She certainly knows how to press its buttons.
I do. And it burnt me the other day, Quinn.
Smack it with an axe.
Okay. So, guys, I know it's a little bit late, but your thoughts on the titty streamer thoughts?
I'll have to do some extensive research into it first.
Okay. So I'm with MADDS on the Libertarian front there. Tax is theft. And I think you're a fucking pussy for ratting somebody out for not paying their taxes. And I think, unfortunately, we have to pay taxes because there's a gun on our head that says we have to, right?
Right. If you didn't pay taxes, who's gonna? Where's the money going
Fix
to
the
come
road,
from?
infrastructure, all of that shit.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
Yes.
the audit?
Yeah, the thought. Yes, exactly. No, but my thing is, what I'm saying is, I don't understand the people that are butthurt because these fucking girls are showing the string. That's perfectly fine with me. Show your tits. Cool. Make money on it. Just, I do agree with Dodge. Tax is theft. Shut the fuck up, bird.
I told you he was talking to a fucking bird, and you're completely off the topic. We have a topic on Thursdays.
Okay, well,
This is it.
I was only trying to segue for a second. My bad. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. I'll be right back.
Okay, hopefully I'm not roboting it. Am I still good? My internet's going in and out, kind of.
Absolutely terrible.
Okay,
So, did you understand what he said?
fucking hell.
Is someone speaking?
Dodge, we're fucking with you, dude.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to read. Shit's irritating. I'm a little too sober for this shit.
It's
Okay,
this slightly, but you're good.
Dodge is
The
sober?
Chinese-
Holy fuck.
The Chinese social credit system was first announced in 2014. It aims to reinforce the idea that keeping trust is glorious and breaking trust is disgraceful. The program is due to be fully operational nationwide by 2020, but is being piloted for millions of people across the country already. The scheme will be mandatory. At this moment, it's piecemeal. Some are ran by city councils, others are scored by private tech platforms which hold the personal data. Like private credit scores, a person's social score can move up and down depending on their behavior. The exact methodology is a secret, but examples of infractions include bad driving, smoking in non-smoking zones, buying too many video games, and posting fake news online.
Okay, hang on just a second. Wait, I just a second. In smoking in non-smoking zones, does that mean that if your home is a non-smoking zone, or
Yes.
in a non-smoking zone, does that mean that your credit score goes down?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, my
That's
thoughts are.
ridiculous.
I know this sounds stupid, but my thoughts are. Can anybody remember that episode of The Orville with the Earth-like planet that where basically Facebook was like?
Oh yes.
judging
Yeah.
I think, was it a movie?
No, it was an episode of The Orville.
It was a television episode?
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Orville yet. I've heard it's really good though. I need to check it out.
It's basically you do any step out of line or somebody perceive you to have stepped out of line, you got downvoted. And
So it's like Big Brother.
Yeah.
But worse. Because if you got enough downvotes, you were brainwashed. That's what
maybe it's just because I play real quick, Seth. Maybe it's just because I either am playing my PS4 or I'm playing Civ 5 on my computer in the background as I fucking study or whatever. Maybe that's like, I'm kind of pissed about the video game thing. Who is it for them to tell their citizens you are spending too much money on video games, or how dare you play video games all night? You're like, what the fuck?
The thing you got to understand is, throughout their history, Chinese have been, their mentality has been extremely authoritarian.
Yeah.
So,
hence the whole communism thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Imperial China, the Chinese Republic.
And they've always been that way, though, even before
the only
communism.
difference has ever been, the name of the fucking government, really.
Yeah, that's the only difference, isn't it? They've always been very, very bossy with their subjects, haven't they?
Yep.
Drowning little girls in buckets when they were born because they wanted boys instead.
Stop singing a song there.
I can get behind that one, but charging people extra for stuff. No, I'm just joking. I'm just playing. I would never drown nobody.
I know, you guys are absolutely.
No, we feed
You're absolutely right. China has always been authoritarian. Even if you look back in the days of the Three Kingdoms era,
even their
which is romanticized, but it is a good point in history to look at if you're going to look at China.
I bet if you even go back as far as like the Qin dynasty, or even further back, it's always been authoritarian. I mean, there's always been a monarch.
Just look at the Chinese religion.
You know what I mean? A monarchy equals authoritarianism, unless it's like a parliamentary monarchy.
The Chinese religion is a bureaucracy. So the Chinese are just gonna take this credit system and run with it. They're not going to argue against it.
Well, what's interesting is the way they're going to collect the data is through CCTV footage, even, ATM cams. Also, they're going to collect all the data from their citizens as they are on Facebook or what have you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really quite intrusive. And Google is helping them out. We'll get to the Google connection here in a little bit. But some of the stuff that they're doing to their citizens for having a bad social credit score is banning you from flying or getting on the train. They'll throttle your internet speed. They'll kill your internet pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Banning you or your kids from the best schools.
And their internet already has restrictions set up, don't it?
Oh, no, I can't play World of Warcraft no more.
Oh no, I can't watch YouTube all day long.
Hello, Gunslinger. How you doing?
Hello, Slinger of
Doing-
Guns.
Gunslinger. Nice
Doing pretty
having you.
good.
That's
Thanks.
a killer. I love it.
But no, get this: banning your children from going to a good school. Why? Because you don't praise communism every day. Wow.
In China, I'm pretty sure it's you have to pay. It's like Britain. If you want to go to a good school, you have to pay for it.
No, if you want to go to good school there, you look around there and find out where the good school is, because most schools over here are state-run.
And they have different. In China, they have weird schools. They have some are trade schools, some are. I mean, they start as early as
They're not weird schools. Generally, they pick out kids in the school population who show an exceptional talent in one area, and they will go to special school.
What's best for the children? What
That's exactly what the Russians did.
Yeah. Okay. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, though. Really, is it? I mean, it can be, but I mean,
I suspect it has its disadvantages as well as its advantages, like any other system.
yeah, just like with anything, right? You know. So,
Just think of it as like
Well, they could
apprenticeship, only it starts a lot earlier.
Well, it gets even better. They could also stop you from getting a good job with either a state-owned agency, which, remember, communist China here, they're all pretty much state-owned, or they could also stop you from getting into the banking profession. All because of what you like or don't like on Facebook, it seems to me. Yeah. I mean, this is really draconian.
And
like I said, all hail Winnie the Pooh, the president.
What wouldn't surprise?
That shouldn't bother you, Matt, you commie.
What wouldn't surprise me the way the Chinese are is if it gets to the stage where, oh, you've done really bad on your credit score. We'll take your children now. Give that to somebody nicer.
Right. Yeah, we'll give you a loan, but it's going to cost you your firstborn children and 27% interest.
Oh, I'm being serious. I can see the Chinese doing that.
Yeah, I was joking, but I believe it too, yeah.
I think the Nazis actually did stuff like that, didn't they?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I never heard that, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Here's something that's interesting also. Keeping you out of the best hotels. People who refused military service were also banned from some holidays and hotels, showing that vacation plans are fair game also. The regime rewards people here as well as punishes them. People with good scores can speed up travel applications.
Wait a second. Rewind. In China, if you refuse military service, you get crappier hotels.
Your credit score goes down.
Citizenship.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and here's the real kick in the nuts, all right? They're turning this into a country song. Getting your dog taken away. They'll take your fucking dog, dude.
Holy shit. That is a country song. They'll take your wife, your kids, your dogs.
I know men who would deliberately fuck up the social score just to have that happen.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, no, does it not remind you of that Black Mirror episode?
Yeah,
where the social media controls everything.
It doesn't because I never watched Black Mirror.
Oh, shit.
Tiger Lily in the chat says they will eat your dog.
And no, that's more of a Cambodia, Thailand thing.
Yeah, but I suspect Tiger Lily pronounced it more like dog.
Yeah.
Because she's cute like that.
Also, they'll publicly shame you and put you on a public blacklist for everybody to see that you're a bad Chinese citizen.
I just had a thought there when you said that, Matt. Yeah. What do you think they could do that instead of putting people in prison for the minor crimes like petty burglary and that, where nobody actually gets hurt? If instead they were put in public stocks.
If that utopia happened, I would be in stock for sure.
Yeah, humiliation instead of prison for those minor crimes.
You do realize that with Google implementing what they're going to implement, and I know exactly what Dodge is talking about because I've been looking into this for a while. They're going to inevitably implement this in their origin, which is the US. And if people put people in stocks in China, they'll probably put people in stocks in the US. And right now, with the SJWs ruling over, the white cis males will be the first put into stocks, and the conservative white females will be the second ones put into stocks.
Well,
And
that makes it straight. Safe, rather.
Well, no, it continues on here. There is also a list for good citizens that will reportedly get you more matches on dating websites. Oh, how nice.
Yes,
you can also get...
Yeah, man, that's because the men who become good citizens, get to just turn up at a woman who's a bad citizen and demand sex, and she can't do anything about it.
Well, so if you're a good boy, you can get some pussy. I'm sorry to cut you off, Dodge. Go ahead, dude.
No,
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying. It sounds like, yeah. You can also get discounts on energy bills, rent things without deposits, and get better interest rates at banks. Wow. Okay, MC, you've been sitting there quiet. Is this a good fucking idea? And how long until it comes to the West?
Am I in charge?
That's
it.
No. They're quiet. That's a fucking rare event. That.
You are in charge right now, MC. Go for it.
If I'm in charge, then it's a great thing.
There would not be anybody on the streets, would there, MC?
Not when I got done. Nope. Of course, there might not be streets either, but that's a separate issue.
Well, you'd want someone to walk around and admire your handiwork, wouldn't you?
No, of course this is a freaking bad thing. Good grief. This is total freaking control, but this is command and control of the entire economy.
Yeah.
In actuality, it's going to negatively affect China. I'm not talking about Chinese or the individual Chinese person's rights. It's going to negatively affect their ability to actually work within the framework of the industrial world.
I'm actually interested in the psychological effects. That kind of negative social pressure every hour of every day. What kind of effect is it going to have on people?
It would be interesting to see what the effect is, but then again, China has an interesting cultural overlay. All right. So one of the bad things about what the result's going to be, right, that we can't predict is the fact that if you implemented something like this in the Western world, we have a pretty good idea what will happen. But you have no idea what's going to happen if you implement it in a culture that is totally foreign to the Western philosophy and the Western mindset.
Well, MC, we did discuss Chinese mindset pretty much. They're extremely authoritarian. I believe they'll just take it.
I think overall they'll just accept it as a normal part of doing this. In fact, that they themselves will, because of their ancestor type of worship. I mean, they will probably just go right along with it and say that it's a normal part of existence.
Whereas
they're not. I mean, if you take a look at their culture as a whole, if you take a look at Buddhism, if you take a look at Taoism, if you take a look at all the different overlays that are all a part of it, it's all done to reinforce the authoritarian mentality.
Yeah, like I was saying, that the main Chinese religion, their heaven, it's a bureaucracy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's their goal set is completely, their mindset is completely alien to the way we look at things from a Western philosophy. They don't look at individuality the same way we do. They really don't.
Yeah, but I mean, what are they going to do? Set a timer? Oh, I get 1 hour of video games today. I better not play again tomorrow.
They will do that, and the vast majority of the people will obey it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, you look at Japan, even like feudal Japan. Yeah, to Western the Western standards, it was very authoritarian, but to Chinese standards, they were a bunch of chaotic bastards.
Yeah, to a large extent, you're correct.
Very true. I don't think you could ever implement something like this in Japan. In any
not anymore. There's more of an individuality streak happening within Japan. Something like this back in the back in the late 1900s and early, or middle 1900s, you probably could have gotten away with something like this because they were still very much a follower. The leader tells you what to do, and it's your duty to follow the leader.
To a greater or lesser extent, yeah, but it was nowhere near like how China's always been.
There's a lot of truth to that. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. I think it'll be more effective, definitely, in China. Than
if that were true, if Japan were culturally exactly like China, post-war Japan would have gone back to being just like what pre-war Japan was.
They are not. China and Japan have fucked each other over numerous times.
Yep.
It's nothing new.
Well, no. What about Europe?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, please let's not talk about those.
What if they introduced something like this? What if they introduced the social credit ranking in Europe? Europe is quite used to strongman leaders. I mean, come on. They're used to authoritarianism. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, over the channel in Europe, yeah. I mean, the majority of the population would probably accept it, but the majority of the population are Muslims, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, joking apart,
I'm talking about the Germans. The Germans are used to authoritarianism. Come on now.
Yes and no. I mean,
for fuck's sake, look.
Merkel is one of the most unpopular people in Germany right now because of her authority.
Well, look at Angela Merkel.
I'd rather not.
Is she not kind of a Nazi, Batman?
Yeah. No, she's kind of a communist.
True.
I mean, she was in the Stasi.
Yeah. Yeah, they were a fun bunch.
Yeah.
Or Russia. Russia institute something like this.
Russia is actually, the individual Russians are actually they're quite fatalistic, and that part of this would appeal to them. But overall, the Russians themselves are still very individualistic in their own mindset. So I don't think this would work so well in Russia.
I think it would appeal to them because, let's face it, Russians are also pessimistic.
They're pessimistic, but they're not. I
think they're also a bit masochistic as well.
Perhaps. The effect on the culture would be the overall effect on their entire culture will be completely different. I think you'll get effects that are really unexpected.
I think if it was a lightweight version of this in Russia, they'd enjoy it because it gives them something else to complain about.
Probably, as long as it was very tempered with it, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Russian boat taking out the Ukraine boat?
What about it? I mean,
what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's
I don't think we should do shit.
It's something that it's something they're going to have to solve for themselves.
Yeah.
All right. There's literally nothing physically we can do. All right, aside from make the situation worse.
I think
we cannot make the situation better, no matter what we do. All right, there is no way we could we can make it better. Really.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I think that the Ukraine's going to back down, but they're also going to try and save face.
Well, of course they are, but it's a matter of
they're digging
how they go about it.
I'll be back.
They're
digging trenches. They're digging trenches and preparing for an invasion by Russia.
Those aren't trenches; they're pre-dug mass graves.
Right.
Let's save the Russians some time.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Long time no see.
No, but in this case, honestly, what can we do? Physically, we can't do anything unless we're going to send troops over there. We're not going to send troops over there. Even if we could send troops over there, our ability to do that deep inside of the Ukraine and Russia, from a support standpoint, would be an absolute nightmare. We couldn't do anything.
We'd be fucked. We'd be fucked.
So there's no way physically we can do it. So therefore, okay, what else can we do? Point our fingers and then choose a side? Okay, well, that sounds great, but which side do we actually choose?
Well,
because whether you like it or not, Russia does have historical claims that are legitimate to the Crimea. So either you accept that or you don't. Which means you either side with Russia or you don't side with Russia. The third option, stay the hell out of it and just let them solve it.
You know what's likely to happen? The UN is going to send a peacekeeping force in to not take sides and stand there going, that's naughty.
There's no way the UN will send a peacekeeping force in there for one reason only. Russia won't allow it.
Well, even if they do, UN peacekeeping forces are a fucking joke anyway. They're not allowed to shoot. They carry weapons, but they're not allowed to shoot back, even if fired upon.
The fucking UN peacekeeping forces are a fucking joke. I mean, have you seen these motherfuckers' uniform? Hello, big ass blue fucking helmet. Oh, that's a good idea. Let's get that to our soldiers.
A white uniform and a blue hat, or a helmet.
You know what it means in the Congo?
Easy target.
No, rape gang is here.
Yep.
The UN blue helmets in Congo were running around basically grabbing women off the streets, raping them, and saying, "You're my slaves."
Oh, that's nice.
Why would you be that stupid? Isn't that one of the areas of the world with the highest HIV and AIDS population? And that's the area you're going to sound pretty desperate.
I think the vast majority of the UN troops in the Congo were Congolese anyway, weren't they?
Why are a bunch of freaking horny young males stupid? That has got to be the dumbest question you've ever asked, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think the dumbest question you ever asked is, do you think the Dodgers will win this year?
That's brutal.
Let's see here. Batman 1, Mad 0.
Sorry, Mad.
Nice.
But no, the situation in when it comes to the Ukrainians and that we have no dog in the fight. You can see both sides of the issue. It's an inflamed issue. You can say, look, you guys need to talk, but that's it. There's literally nothing else we can do. And there's no reason for us to do anything else aside from saying, look, you're better off talking with one another. We're not going to sit up there and try and dictate who's right or wrong. We're just going to sit back and let you guys iron it out. We prefer it to be peaceful, but if it turns into a war, we're just gonna watch from the sideline. We're gonna get the popcorn out and go, well, who do you think is gonna win? We may take bets. I know we're really good about that. We'll take bets on who's gonna win.
I know what America needs to do right now with this. America needs to arm both sides to the teeth and egg both sides on, right? At the end of all the fighting, hold on, let me finish. At the end of all the fighting, the United States rolls in and takes out the survivor because they'll be in a very badly weakened state by then.
I don't know. My money's on Russia.
No, but what I was saying is MC is right. Russia has had a claim to the Crimea before the Victorian age.
Yep, and in all seriousness, when it comes to the Russians, when they decide to fight, you get out of their way.
Yeah.
What really wigs me out is these fucking assholes that are trying to create another Cold War with us and Russia. You see it? MC knows what I'm talking about, and they're doing it on fucking purpose.
They are.
That's all right.
They're trying to inflame a situation here that really, to be honest, and the sad part is too many people are so uneducated that they don't even realize that there are legitimate territorial claims that Russia has to this area.
Yeah. Right. Talking about Cold Wars, I think if we actually get Brexit and leave the EU, we're going to be the forward position in the new Cold War, aren't we? Between the real West, the modern West, and the EU.
Yeah, that's exactly what it'll be. And the question then is going to be who trusts Russia on their side.
I'd rather trust Russia than the EU.
Right.
Like, put it this way, the world is in such a fucked up state that the most reasonable leader out there seems to be a madman like Putin.
Right. We'd be safer living in Belarus or some shit, somewhere like that.
I think it'd be safer fucking trying to go camping on Mars.
Or Chechnya or some shit.
The Bezos plan.
What's that real bad country that borders Chechnya? That's very dangerous.
Yeah.
That fighter came from there. Well, do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the place where you get shot at such a lot.
Turkmenistan?
Chechnya.
It's right next to Chechnya. It starts with an F. It's east. It's east of Chechnya. It starts
East
with an
of
F, I
Chechnya?
think.
Fucked if I know.
Yeah, that's not it, but close enough. It'll work for us. Close enough.
Fuck if I know. I know that country. I met it when I was tripping on balls on LSD. What's up, MC?
Oh, cool.
Are you thinking of Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan?
No. I do think it is a stand though.
Well, there's a bunch of stands. I mean, there's nothing but stands there.
Yeah, I know.
There's Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan,
Turkmenistan. There's all sorts of stands.
There has to be a South Park reference in there somewhere. Come on, guys. Somebody bring it up.
But of course, you have the Ukrainians asking for help. They can't stand up to Russia on their own. They're pretty much begging NATO to intervene.
There's a Dagestan. Is that what you're thinking of?
That might be it. That might be it. Dagestan, I believe it is. Is that where the fighter who fought the Irish guy is from?
Could be.
I do believe it is.
I think it is Dagestan.
I think it is Dagestan.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation for it, but I think that's.
Yeah, I believe you're right. That does sound right.
There's also a Genghisstan.
Well, there's a ton of stands there. I mean, it's impossible to sit there and freaking name them all.
It's not going to drop.
Kekistan is gay, Batman.
I didn't say Kekistan. I said Genghisstan.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Shutting up.
I can picture that now. Shut it up. That's got to be one of the.
All right. So to get back around to the actual topic of today, if the United States had a social credit ranking, how shitty would all of our credit be?
If the United States had a social credit rating, there'd be another civil war.
Yep, I would be in prison.
To be honest, every one of us.
No, Sith, you wouldn't be in prison. You'd be a force ghost.
My first wife liked to live on a champagne diet on a beer budget, and fucking put me in that pretty good.
So what you're saying is you would die me out in a heartbeat? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying.
Could you imagine that freaking? Could you imagine that giant billboard thing in freaking New York City? You know, shaming people. Unholy moles, Pornhub searches for this month.
Can you imagine if it was a live update?
They wouldn't shame me, buddy.
Can you imagine if it was a live update billboard?
Yeah, they wouldn't shame me.
Yeah, he's unholy mode jacking off to his porn.
What the fuck did I just walk back into?
Look at the distance on that.
I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure.
That billboard was real. I just.
Then you see the sudden shock when Mo sees the hidden camera.
Oh, yeah.
That
The look on my
billboard was
face.
real. I would be fucking with it. I'd be searching up some weird fucking shit just to have a camera set up so I could watch people's reactions as they read it.
Well,
Jesus Christ, I'm really not surprised that you guys are talking about porn and unholy mole.
We weren't even talking about that. We were talking about Chechnya and shit. I don't even know where this came from.
We're still on about this.
It came from the same place it normally comes from, which is Batman. What the hell do you expect?
Okay, it was Mo who went porn.
No, it wasn't. It was
Yes,
you.
it was. Yes, it was.
I'm not surprised it came from Batman either.
God.
I promise it wasn't me that brought that up. That's for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it would come from Mole. It sounds like it came out of Batman's mouth.
Oh no, it's perfectly possible to come from Mole. Don't drop. I'm not going to deny
But not
that.
about myself, though. You know?
But no, as far as this whole social thing here, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they're going to institute something like this. This is going to be the new way they're going to try and do this. That's the whole purpose behind Twitter right now. The way Twitter is acting.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you lately, MC, but I just wanted to tell you that I'm proud. Your everyday, morning news thing is you're doing well, man. I mean, every time I watch, it seems like there's more and more and more people watching. I mean, I'm proud of you, buddy. You're getting there.
A whole whopping 71 subscribers now. I'm so proud of him.
Hey, 70 might not sound like a lot, but when you have none to start off with, 70 is a pretty fucking high number.
71. Don't deplete him.
I remember when I had like 12, and I thought, who the fuck 70? What do I have to say? You know, I mean.
I appreciate it. That's all. And I said this before, but I enjoy the just going off on rants.
Unholy Mole.
Get off my lawn.
I hate to tell you this. I don't like to put out any content, but I have 183 subscribers.
You don't have none at all?
I have 183.
No content at all?
No content at all.
Wow, no streams or nothing?
Just the ones that I'm on.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. That's cool.
I know.
That's even more amazing.
Well, wait, the way I look at that is people like me who get subscribers, it's free advertising for people like Dodge.
Yeah,
everybody else I'm subscribed to.
I usually try to sub to people, I like to sub to the lower, the little guy, If they sub to me, I'll sub back,
So, have you subscribed to Tom Cruise's channel?
Fuck Tom Cruise. Scientologist.
Well, he said you like to subscribe to the little guy.
Oh, not that kind of little guy. I meant a small subscriber count.
Warwick Davison.
Oh, he's so cute.
Hey, guess what, Matt?
Heightism.
I got Logic to come on to interview him. I was pretty surprised about that.
Logic is good.
Yeah.
Logic is freaking amazing.
Yeah, I like his. I think they're married now. His wife, I's the original.
Yeah, I'm friends with Iseth, but I don't really know Logic on that kind of basis.
Iseth is she's a hard person not to be friends with.
Yeah, I know, she's such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Logic is good people.
Yeah,
I have seen every single one of his videos, and now I literally use them to fall asleep too.
He's actually the one that got me into wanting to start a channel. Actually, he really? Is the one. Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked. I mean, I was super excited when I had Godless Engineer and but Logic. That's I'm pretty excited about that one.
He's only 31 years old too.
Yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to talking to him.
He's a freaking baby.
Oh, yeah. Fucking children.
Well, that's good. When are you going to talk to him? I mean,
he said
you're going to do it live on stream, right?
Yeah, on stream. I'm going to interview him and then just chat about other stuff.
Cool.
He's busy the rest. He said he's got some stuff to finish up, this year, and then he said anytime after at the beginning of January, anytime in January, pretty much what he said.
Okay.
So.
We've got the gay Jedi female back.
Yeah, but I mean, you could also have other ways of shaming people, like MC, you yelling at everybody on Twitter. They can start posting your tweets all over the place. Don't be like this guy.
You know what's funny about that? He bitches on his streams that it's so fucking stupid to argue with the leftists on Twitter, and then he argues with the leftists on Twitter.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Sometimes you.
Yeah, but me. Let's face it. MC's doing that because everybody needs a hobby.
I say that it's difficult to get a point across on Twitter because of the format. That's the only thing I've ever said.
No, it's not. I will pull up your stream where you have said it is stupid to argue with the leftists on Twitter.
Like, Shirati.
I'd have to see the context of that, because the only reason I disagree about arguing with leftists on Twitter is because it's very hard to actually carry on a conversation with the character limitations within Twitter.
And it's hard to carry on a conversation with people that just give you fucking blanket answers every time they answer.
Right. Well, that's very true.
As to it being stupid to argue with people.
It's like they have
on Twitter.
It's like they have a
MC argue with leftists on Twitter. He's a guy. We like doing stupid things.
It's like they have like a little booklet of answers to answer towards the conservatives. Like, okay, I'll put this one down. And that's what it seems like.
Isn't that how the whole NPC thing got started in the first place? Because they all answered the same thing.
Yeah, essentially. I imagine you're right.
It's not to say that there aren't NPCs that are conservatives, because there are some people that are conservative, but they're not.
And see, when you say that,
there are a lot of
people. Do you know what I mean?
There are a lot of people out there with cut and paste personalities.
And see, well, a lot of some people have a problem with is the old guard right wing Christian conservative.
What's wrong with having an old guard? Sometimes they know what they're on about.
I'm just saying that some people get bitchy about it.
Well, that's because some people like being bitchy.
Well, I think that those people are the ones.
Insert Shirati's name there.
So no, the thing is I think that a lot of people have a really bad impression of conservatives strictly because the media has promoted exactly what you call the old guard conservatives as being that's what conservatives are.
Yeah, they're demonizing conservatives is what they're doing.
Okay. Yes, so they only show conservatives that can't speak for themselves, that go back to and use the Bible for justification, to justify their viewpoints, so that they can then mock them later on. And they don't listen. They don't find other conservatives, all right, unless you get the milquetoast ones like George Will or frickin' Bill Kristol, and they try to hold them up as being conservative, which these are the reasonable conservatives. And in reality, while George Will is somewhat conservative, there is no way that I would ever say that Bill Kristol was a conservative. He's not.
Like me and you, MC, for instance. Me and you have totally different political views, but me and you can sit and have a conversation and not scream and cuss at each other, can't we?
Oh, certainly. But then again, I don't think that our views are as far off as you as.
No, I mean I'm not a far leftist either, so that does make
you're
a small
not. Well, but in order to be a far leftist, in my opinion, you've got to frickin' be a closed-minded bigot, and that's not an exaggeration in my mind.
I agree.
I mean,
and people really need to find out what the definition of bigot is, because they use it wrong a lot.
If people would even crack a freaking dictionary, it'd be crazy to me.
You're right.
What other word have they been
Do you remember
using
the
wrong?
days when you looked at a dictionary for two reasons? One, if to find out if you spelled a word right, and two, so if you heard a word that you had never heard before, you were looking up the definition.
I would. I thought anybody would do that. That's why I have a fairly large vocabulary. If I hear a word I don't know, I learn it and then I try to work it into a sentence. So I do know.
Hey, guys, even then, remember the Dewey Decimal System? Do you remember going to fucking libraries with no computers? I'm sorry, Mo, I didn't mean to talk over you, but yeah.
I was just going to say, if you're under 40, you probably don't know what the Dewey Decimal System is. Maybe 35.
Right? Excuse me?
Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute.
35.
I'm 34. We were still using it in my high school when I went to high school.
Well, from small, very high school. Your high school did, but did your public library?
Yes, actually, my public library still does.
Are you from a small town?
No, it's actually getting larger now. It just got its first big hotel.
Oh.
I wonder if
it's got its first big hotel. It got its first big hotel.
I wonder if there's any libraries that still have card catalogs.
Oh no, everything's on computer now for the most part.
Yeah,
at least here in Tucson, everything is on computer now.
I have my very first life.
I will admit that that's one thing that computers are very, very good for, is creating databases and easily searchable databases. All right.
Tiger Lily just said the smartest thing in the world. I believe in our Lord and Savior Cthulhu.
Thank you.
Tiger Lily is one.
All right, come here. Come here.
I'm not H.P. Lovecraft fan. Actually, I think he's a mediocre author at best.
Ask that question again. Isn't that the squid guy?
Cthulhu? all of H.P. Lovecraft's characters were kind of ocean dwellers.
That is my 9-year-old, and that is how she sees H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu.
It's Omegon. It's Omegon. It's not Cthulhu.
So be quiet.
Omegon is not Cthulhu.
No, child, be quiet.
He's Cthulhu.
I am dead. No, he is not a Cthulhu.
I'm joking.
He is considered a Cthulhu-kin. In fact, he has a Cthulhu-kin show, if I'm not mistaken, that he does every now and then. Does he not?
He has a Cthulhu-kin show. Yes, you are correct. However, he is not a technically Cthulhu-kin.
What about Harvey?
He is a mind flare.
What about Harvey?
No one is Cthulhu-kin because Cthulhu is a mythical creature or a fictional creature.
So is a mind flare, but his character is based off of mind flares.
I understand that, but what about Harvey? You know,
I was just joking though. Yeah, that went way farther.
Doomcock's little pet that he's got in the thing. Is Harvey Cthulhu? Do you guys even know what I'm talking about, Doomcock?
I'm sorry, I was busy. Doing something else.
You got to explain a joke.
I actually, since there's a mixed bag of people, and some people are Christians, some are atheists, I wanted to talk about that kid that got killed on the Sentinelese Island, and whatever. I mean, like, you know, Christians are up in arms and say these people need to be prosecuted and justice needs to be done. I was just curious what everybody's take on that was.
I think they did the right thing.
I mean, what's that?
I think that the savages, for want of a better term, did the right thing. This dude turned up, invaded their island.
I agree. It's horrible, and it should have never happened. The guy was reckless and foolhardy. I mean, he didn't deserve to die. No one deserves to die. Well, it's horrible. It's tragic.
If he wants to take the risk, let him.
Right.
All right. But the thing is is anybody really doing them a favor?
Right.
Keeping them in an ignorant state.
It's the sovereign nation, and there's like.
Real quick.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, you're talking about that island, right? Yeah, they're closed off. Okay, they're closed off from the rest of the world in part because they have been so isolated for so long that our modern diseases would probably wipe them out. There's estimated to only be like 150 or 200 of them total.
They think there might be as low as 50.
Yeah, we don't know the population number at all.
And second of all,
well, real quick, how do they have a breeding population if there's only 50 of them? How inbred is this tribe?
They're very bottlenecked, I bet you. I almost guarantee it. I'm sure at one time there was more interbreeding between the islands, but it hasn't happened for a very, very long time.
So, are you doing this group of people a favor?
Well, I don't know if
the islands are claimed,
but I don't know. That's a tough call to make there. You know,
the islands are claimed by India, if I'm not mistaken. India has sovereignty, and they are the ones who are trying to say that we want to keep these people in a pristine state. Well, okay, I hear what you're saying, and you can make your rules for your territory, and I wouldn't argue that this isn't Indian territory. What I would say though is are you really helping these people? Are these people really being helped? Because I don't think that they are.
Wait, what kind of Indian?
I don't either. They're pre-Neolithic. They can't even communicate with us. So how the fuck are they going to?
They're absolutely not helping them. I'm sorry, Mo.
Well,
damn it.
Actually,
who are we on about now?
They're saying that ever since a couple ships wrecked on the island, they are now advanced into the Iron Age. There's now iron tips on their arrows. So they are advancing because of outside interference.
Oh, is it that island?
In my eyes, if you create the Iron, then you're Iron Age. But if you didn't create the Iron Age, then you just have iron tools.
Oh, look, is it that island where it's basically against a lot of land because of the Stone Age people that live there?
They can't.
Yeah, the crazy fuckers that shoot arrows at helicopters. Yeah, those guys.
Yeah. Apparently, they're supposed to be the oldest living tribe in the world.
Yeah, they don't even know how to start their own fires. They get their fires from like lightning strikes and stuff.
So I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about, and Joe Rogan's a fucking idiot. He's a good fighter. I wouldn't want to fight that dude, whatever, but he's not very bright. He was amazed that natives could make arrowheads. And I'm like, dude, the Native Americans made arrowheads out of obsidian and flint for thousands of years.
Yeah, even if they weren't making it, all they have to do is sharpen up and then harden wood. That's an arrowhead.
Unholy Mole, the amount we know about those people is limited to when what we see when we see them on the beaches firing at helicopters.
And I think during the Victorian age, also 4 people were kidnapped from there, and 2 of them died,
Batman.
and they brought 2 back in the Victorian age.
Batman, have you taken a look at their bows? Did you notice that they're long bows?
I haven't taken a look at their bows, no, because I've never been there.
They're long bows. Kind of similar to the... I'm sorry, Mo, continue, bro.
I was gonna say their arrows don't even have fletchings on them. That's how low in technology they are. Their arrows have no fletching.
Yeah, but what my point is, it's very easy to make an arrow and make a bow and arrow, and that we started with what, slings?
I wouldn't call it very easy.
Actually, we started with thrusting spears.
Yeah, exactly, Batman. We started with a sharp.
We started with a rock. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Perfectly honest, we started with a rock, and then other people said, "Okay, well, I've got a stick." And then somebody said, what if I put the rock on the stick?
Archie, MC,
this is the process we went through.
MC, you're wrong. You are wrong, because we share a common ancestor with chimpanzees, and chimpanzees make thrusting spears. So we started with thrusting spears.
And then rock.
Just because the chimpanzees were smarter than we were at that stage doesn't mean that we.
What do you mean? What do you mean smarter than we were?
Yeah. We don't know. They could be just as smart as us. We have no idea. Or
well, I've got a question. Weren't we supposed to be talking about the Chinese?
I do know that the chimpanzees would love to have boomsticks when they're dealing with the lions. I don't think. So from that standpoint, we're smarter than the chimpanzees.
Yes, very true, MC. But we did start with a sharp stick or a fucking rock, and then we attached the goddamn rock, like you said, to the fucking stick, and then we started beating each other with it. Humans are assholes.
Okay, but
all
MC, you're assholes. So real quick, MC, you're making the assumption that it'd be better for them if they were picked up and thrust into the modern era. Did you watch George of the Jungle? Did you not get the whole story there?
I don't think he said that, dude, at all.
I don't think that by keeping them in isolation, that it's a good thing for them overall. So
you want them to progress to the modern era, then?
So I want them to decide how to go after they learn what else is out there. Keeping people ignorant, all right, and it's not a good strategy.
How are you gonna intrude upon them? Because
no, hold on. I didn't say intrude upon them. Okay.
How are you going to introduce them to the outside world? They
can't getting shot at.
You're not. You're not going to get them to interact with the outside world without them getting shot at. But at the same time, if people want to drive up boat, I don't think it should be illegal for people to drive up boats and fish off those waters. And if they get killed, they get killed. I don't think that they have any that the Indians are doing them any favors by saying we're going to make it illegal to land there. No, you don't make it illegal to land there. Let them do it.
They're not doing them any favors. They're doing the idiots who would land there favors.
No, they're not. Not when they charge the people in the fishing boat with murder.
I think they should just leave them people alone and live and let live, dude.
Then what's the point of having that territory? What's the point of having that territory then? Oh, God damn it!
It's like a national park, Matt. It's protected.
I don't want national parks either, Mole.
Well, I'm sorry about
who you're talking to here.
This isn't America.
Hold on. Stop. Dodge. Why do you not want national parks?
Because look at all the homeless population on the West Coast that could homestead in the fucking national forest that is just up here asking to be burnt down every year. That's why.
Oh, that's Oregon for you. Yeah, you should beat the hippies with a stick.
Literally the only thing I want saved are the fucking redwood trees because they are literally dinosaurs and they need to be saved.
You know, think about how many empty houses there are all over this country. We could house the homeless if we really wanted to.
They don't want to live in Detroit. Come on.
I didn't know. I said all over the nation.
What you need to do is you need to bulldoze California and rebuild it.
I mean, you know, if we're a first world country, we need to start treating all of our citizens the same. Homeless people.
How do we do that? How do we do that?
I know by starting to treat homeless people like human fucking beings. That would be a good start.
By treating all your citizens the same way, according to the U.S. Constitution, you're supposed to do that anyway.
Yeah, but they don't.
How don't they?
How do they not treat homeless people like human beings?
Okay, a homeless person is in a park. He's staying there, not bothering anybody. A cop comes, harasses him, steps all over his civil rights and then arrests them because he's sleeping in a public place and has committed no crime.
You're not
I lived in California, MC.
At the least, at the most, they can trespass them from the property, but they should not arrest them.
Why shouldn't they arrest them?
You can get arrested
because you have to be trespassed first. You have to be to commit a crime to be arrested.
Okay, Morris, hang on, Batman. Hang on, MC. What about those people who go into a house or an apartment, whatever, and say they were initially going to pay rent, but they drop all their belongings off and say, "Oh no, I don't have to pay rent. I'm a squatter now. You can't get me out because I have squatters' rights."
No,
there are those people. No. No, there are those people though.
Yeah, that's the
You're
difference
supposed
in the
to
UK.
treat everybody equally, right?
I don't think we have squatters' rights in the UK anymore.
But you do here.
Oh yeah.
But if I were to go and squat in a house, I would also be arrested. If you commit a crime, you get arrested.
I was living in Sacramento for 4 years, and the lady of the house, the owner of the house, the landlord, was a total fucking cunt, and she wanted us out because we were party animals, and I was young back then, right? So this was about 10 years ago. We lived there for 4 years. The police showed up and they were like, "You have to get your shit out right now or you're going to jail."
No, you have 30 days.
So we grabbed everything, we loaded it up, left Sacramento. I will never go back to California. Fuck that state.
Yeah. I'm not saying all homeless people are law-abiding citizens, but a lot of them do get fucked over, dude.
Well,
yes.
The people don't get pulled over, but that doesn't mean necessarily that just because, all right, there's a difference between being arrested, all right, and losing your rights. Just because you've been arrested doesn't mean that you've lost rights or anything else. That's the whole purpose of the system as it exists.
But then their rights getting stepped on is what gets them arrested, because like a cop walks up to them in a park. They're just sitting there, not minding their own business. The cop says, "Give me your ID," and then if they refuse, they get arrested for either disorderly or obstruction.
Which okay. When a cop is doing an investigation, all right,
he has no right to get your license unless you've committed a crime.
No, he does not. He has the right to investigate. He has the right to
investigate all he wants.
And that is part, whether you like it or not, that is part of the investigation to ask for somebody's ID. Yes.
Actually, no, it is illegal to not present ID if you are asked. Unfortunately for me, my wallet got stolen a couple months ago, so I couldn't even vote.
Now, some
asshole stole my wallet, and I was dumb enough to leave my fucking social security card in there. I have to call the vital statistics to get my fucking social security card so I can get my fucking ID.
God, I've always got my Justice League membership card on me.
So you're saying, if you were just walking down the road minding your own business and a cop pulled up beside you and said, "Let me see your ID," you'd show it to him?
Yep.
You have to.
You've done nothing wrong at all.
Even if because I don't know what they're investigating.
That's their business, not yours.
Exactly. And there's no reason for me to impede their investigation.
I would be cordial to them, but I'm gonna stand up for my rights.
I'm not losing rights because I've been asked for my ID.
Yes, you are. That's the illegal search and seizure, dude.
No, it
they
isn't.
have no right to know your name.
They haven't
have the right to travel unimpeded. You do not have to give your
You do not know what the situation is to know whether or not their authorization is
in your name, and in your name will tell them whether you're committing a crime or not.
It might.
Yeah.
It might.
It might sit up there. They could be looking for me simply to sit up there and tell me my wife has been in an accident. I'm not going to assume the worst. All right, just because people are doing this.
Situation. I think I agree with you halfway and halfway don't agree with you. Like, if I was just walking down the street minding my own business and they just stop me out of the blue because they're bored and I'm doing nothing wrong.
No, but you've already assumed something. You've already assumed that was the reason that the police are stopping you. You've already couched the terms for what's going on with this, and you can't necessarily do that, in my opinion.
I agree with MC.
Well,
I disagree, because this American, we have the right to free travel. That's what the Fourth Amendment's all about.
How is the police asking you for your
It's a
ID?
Nazi Germany. I don't have to show you my ID. I don't have to show you my papers.
How is a police asking you for your ID impeding your travel?
Unfortunately,
by stopping me and asking me for my ID if I'm doing nothing wrong. That's impeding my
How does he know
travel.
you do nothing wrong? What if he said?
Then they can investigate all they want, but they're not getting my ID unless they have a reason.
Let's say this police stops you and asks you for your ID because he's been given a search criteria because there's been state of burglary committed and you fit the general description.
Then he needs to articulate a reason for me to give him.
No, he doesn't.
No,
yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
When do you have the right? Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
You need to read the
laws.
laws.
When do you have the right to know? Hold on a second, Mo.
You guys really
have the right? Hold on. When do you have the right to know? All right, what a freaking police officer is investigating?
It doesn't matter.
No. Answer the question. If you don't have that right to sit up and find out what he's investigating, that is your problem. That's why it's a great.
I'm under no obligation to help them with their investigation.
Can I ask you a question? How does a policeman request to see your ID constitute illegal search and seizure? He's not searching you.
He has no right to look at my ID unless I've committed a crime, he suspects me of committing a crime, or he's caught me in the middle of committing
just because he's doing an investigation of people around in the area.
But then he has to tell you an articulable reason why.
I suspect that you're doing something illegal. How's that? Is that good enough for you?
No, it's not. That's not probable cause.
No, I didn't say that. No, suspicion. Suspicion. When you are suspected, you are working on suspicion.
Probable cause. You need probable cause.
Who gets to determine what's probable cause?
That's what I'm saying.
The lawyer does not have to shit out of the cop for fucking with me for no reason.
Hold on, you guys are already making an assumption. You're already going back again and again and again to the cop has no reason. If the police officer walks up to you, your first assumption is he has no reason to ask me anything?
He can ask me anything he wants, but I don't have to answer him.
Yeah, you do.
No, I do not.
You have responsibilities, and it is illegal, all right, to withhold your ID.
I really think you should look up the law, sir.
I do know what the law is in this case.
State is different, but most states aren't stopping ID states.
Well,
they have to have a reasonable, articulable.
But they don't have to tell you that reason. There is no reason.
Crime.
They don't have to tell you a reason of why they are stopping you in any way, shape, or form.
No, they don't. You do not have to give them an ID until you are under arrest. Telling you ID is secondary.
That right there is okay. You're getting arrested because he has a suspicion. You still haven't gotten a suspicion yet.
Suspicion of what?
Hold on. From him, you have
or a felony.
You don't know what it is.
Stop. Hold on.
They don't know what it is. Is it a misdemeanor or a felony?
No, you're assuming they don't know what it is. You're making an assumption of the cop. You just said the cop doesn't do it.
I've got one for you, Mo. Yeah. Cop comes.
I know the law. I'm not.
Hey, real quick. I get to talk. Yeah. Okay. MC. 10-second Google search. Immediate result right at the top. In most cases, if the police stop you on the street, you do not have to show the police your ID or
All
answer
right.
any question.
And
Wait, no, let me finish.
And where's that coming from?
Let him finish.
If the police stop you while you are driving or cycling, you do have to show the police your ID, or tell them who you are when asked. And that is step or STEP justice.ca. It's from the California state. Wait a minute, California. It's a California law. It's a state law. So,
in other words, it's the what California. Somebody in the
but all you're arguing is what Arizona says.
That has
we have 50 separate states.
That is nothing to do with the U.S. Constitution, and it's not federal in any way,
the U.S. Constitution doesn't talk about local police enforcement.
Hold on a second. You can't claim federal statutes, meaning the Constitution of your rights, and then turn around and say, but this has nothing to do with the feds.
I absolutely can.
It doesn't have anything to do with the feds.
That's a Fourth Amendment. That's stepping on your Fourth Amendment right.
You're making a claim that this person that doesn't exist, because in other states it is legal for them to do it. So a Fourth Amendment right cannot apply. If a state can sit up there and tell you that you have to sit up there and produce ID.
In my state, it's not a stop and ID state. They have to respect you. I do not.
And yeah, no, and my argument has nothing to do with Mole's argument. My argument is it varies state by state. I believe that Oregon is the same way as California on this, so is Washington. Nevada as well. A lot of the western states are. I bet you if you looked at each state by state, very few.
If a state can sit up there and tell you you have to show ID if the police asked,
then you have to, yes.
Then hold on. Then it can't be a Fourth Amendment issue.
I think it is technically because that's impeding your right to travel without showing papers.
It has not stopping you from traveling. In no way is that in stopping you from traveling. All right, a stop and travel.
Are they stopping you?
Your paper?
Are they stopping you?
If they sit there and say, "Let me see your ID," then no, they're not stopping you from traveling. They're just saying, "Let's see your ID." They're not telling you can't. They're not telling you can't. It only becomes an issue if they say you can't go into this area. All right, that is when they're putting something off limits. Just because they stopped you to say, "I would like to see your ID," you don't know what their investigation is
for no reason. They can't just call up and say, "When you see your ID."
Okay,
I would imagine it's extremely rare for them to do it for no reason.
Okay, so the last time I got pulled over, was in Santa Fe.
If you're in a car, you do have to show ID.
The cop pulled me over, and when I got pulled over, the officer asked for my ID, and I said, I don't have my ID. I left it at home, which was the truth. And I gave him my social security number. He ran it through, and he was like, okay, here's your ticket because you were going 5 miles over the limit in a school zone.
Because a lot of cops...
And it was fine. But continue, guys.
I was just going to say, because a lot of cops try to do that so they can hang or hem people up and check it, because if they have their name, then they can run them for warrants. I mean, they do that in high crime areas. You know what I mean? They'll be like, give me your, you got an ID? Just they're fishing. That's what they're doing. They're fishing.
And you should be ran for warrants. If you have a warrant, you should get ran. And
so
if
I'm minding my own business, walking down the street, a cop should be able to stop and run me for warrants.
If they're looking for an area that's a high crime area,
yes.
No.
Well, real quick.
No. You're telling me
real quick, MC.
Don't work that way.
I'm using the scenario you just gave me. What do you mean it doesn't work that way?
I have a question.
I'm just saying, if you're not committing a crime at that time, you're just walking down the street.
Yeah.
Even if you do have a warrant, I mean, they're obviously not going to want to show their ID.
Well, if it's California, it could easily be arrested for breaking the fashion law.
But if they're just fishing and you happen to have a warrant, I'm saying they can't, unless you're committing a crime or suspect you of committing a crime, and if they don't know who you are, then how would they know you have a warrant or not?
Okay, but MC, this will tell me all I need to know.
They think that you're somebody that does have it. How are you going to prove that wasn't the reason they stopped you?
Exactly. Hey. That's why I'm not going to give my ID unless I'm committing a crime.
Well, then, but then at that point right there, they're going to assume that you are who they think you are, and they can arrest you.
Whatever the fuck they want to assume, but I have my rights, and I don't have to.
They can arrest you, and
I'll win.
Okay, but for what purpose? In other words, you go through the entire process. Okay, but your rights are not being violated because of you're violating.
Hey, how about I bring in an actual ex-police officer?
Well, real quick, I have been trying to ask a damn question for 10 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
MC, you support stop and frisk, yes or no?
Yes.
That's all you need to know about his argument, Mole. So just stop. That's all you need to know.
What do you mean that's all you need to know about it?
Because stop and frisk is completely bullshit, and it's.
I hate to tell you this, but you can say that it's bullshit, but whether you like it or not, it has gone in front of the Supreme Court, and they have allowed it. Now you can argue. You can argue to the federal Supreme Court, to the Supreme Court of the United States.
They can't do that in every state.
That's because the states say that you can't do it. It's not because it's illegal under the Constitution of the United States.
You wouldn't call that illegal search and seizure?
Nope.
No, it's not illegal search and seizure.
Because stop and frisk means, where are you? You're in public. You're not in private. I'm not.
You're in public. Okay, a pat down would be okay.
Well,
but
that's what I mean by
a pat down's not even okay, and my fucking pockets are private. All right, pockets. Exactly. That's my private person, dude. No, stop and frisk is total bullshit.
Do you agree that would be a Fourth Amendment violation?
Well, whether he can believe it's a Fourth Amendment violation or not, all he wants. Guess what? The Supreme Court says otherwise. So you can
bullshit. I'll argue that all day with you. Usually I don't argue with the MC, but that one I'm going to argue with.
Go ahead. I guarantee you'll lose.
No, I guarantee I won't, because you just said that every state has to stop ID.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Just a second.
I said that it's not illegal by the Supreme Court, and if it's not illegal by the Supreme Court, then you don't necessarily, then it isn't a right that can be applied. This is what I'm. Just because a state.
Wait a second.
We will sit up there, and just because a state says we don't allow in a state court, all right, stop and frisk, doesn't mean that the Supreme Court of the United States or SCOTUS allows it or not.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court doesn't agree with just stop people now with no articulate or no articulate.
Yes, they do. Show me a case.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do. They
do not.
That's why all these what do you call them? Where they stop people for drunken driving. They say, okay, we're going to stop everybody on the road going at this time of day. That has gone in front of the Supreme Court, and it has been deemed, all right, legal for them to do it. That is a type of stop and frisk. Okay, and the Supreme Court has authorized and said there's nothing wrong with that. It does not violate a person's Fourth Amendment rights. You can argue the point if you want, but the Supreme Court says otherwise. And guess what? We have to obey what the Supreme Court has said.
No, I think what MC is trying to say here is that he doesn't necessarily agree with it, but it is the law of the land. Yes, no?
If a state wants to stop these things and put it in their state constitution, that their state constitution doesn't allow for it, that's fine. That's a state constitution. But it's not the federal law. Because federally, they've said it's okay. And whether I like the ruling or don't like the ruling, just like RICO, I absolutely despise RICO. All right, but guess what? The Supreme Court has said it's legal, so guess what? It's legal. You can argue if you want.
Thank you very, very much.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is Vince.
Hello, Vince.
Hello.
This is Mole, MC, Dodge, Batman, Quinn, Sith. Well, and you know me.
Yeah, we're not telling you which one's Batman.
Get on with it, boys.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, MC, you are correct. They found that it was racially profiling people in New York. That's how it was deemed unconstitutional. But stop and frisk itself is constitutional, supposedly. Fucking Supreme Court.
Oh my God! Now you start being pleasant.
Oh no, he was there. He's been engaged. What are you doing now that he's president? You gotta give
No,
credit.
I didn't say present. I said pleasant.
Oh, pleasant.
Oh, we thought you presented the Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't take offense to anything Mole was saying. I didn't take anything offensive MADDS was saying.
I don't think Mo took anything offensive.
No, I don't think he did either.
No.
Anyway, can you ask the nice nice guy who's taking out time of his day to talk your questions?
Well, I didn't.
That's the point. We don't have to all get along completely on thoughts, but at the same time, everybody here is a bunch of fun people.
Eventually,
I hate all of you.
If I have thoughts, you're not getting any of them.
How about you cut through the bullshit and
I hate you the most in and Batman right afterwards. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
The
question is can a police officer ask for your ID? Is it legal for him to ask for your ID and you can refuse giving your ID?
It's a very legal thing, and it is shitty that it happens, but they do it.
Let the man talk.
Yes, the police officer can ask to see your ID. I mean, but
they can ask, but you don't have to say yes.
You don't have to say yes. The only reason where you actually are compelled to is if one, it's in a public place. Two, he has a reason to believe that you are in the commission of a crime.
Yes,
or probable cause.
But so if you're in a public,
just if you're in a public place, they have to suspect.
No, he wasn't done speaking.
The guy, what I mean is if you're sitting there, and you can't have a cop sitting by your bedstand, looking down at you. Hey, see your ID. You know what I mean? It's like it has to be in a proper setting where where you guy would be expected to have his ID on him. Is what I mean. If you're sitting around walking in the outdoor mall, it's reasonable to ask somebody to see their ID. And if he has reason to believe that you've done something, he can ask it for you. I mean, you have to pretty much present it to him.
No, you don't, unless he suspects you're committing a crime.
If he has reason to believe you've done something, he
has to be able to articulate what you've done.
Yes, as well. You always have to be able to.
Yeah. So if he can't articulate a crime, he can't just say, "Well, you're a suspicious person," because that's neither a misdemeanor or a felony. He has to have a specific crime.
You were casting a shadow without a license.
No.
No, they have to have a specific crime before they can ask.
Oh, in the UK, that is a specific crime.
Or a potato peeler.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you can go to jail for a spoon in the UK.
Do you have is that a potato peeler, mate?
You can go to prison for being in possession of an unusually acidic orange in the UK.
You could go to jail if your dog sits over 6 tiles when you're walking by.
You can go to jail for being mean to people on the internet in the UK.
Yes,
that's true
yes,
too.
You can. It's amazing I'm not in prison right now.
At least they're not taking people's dogs like in China. But anyway, I digress.
But yeah, I mean,
if someone is in an area for a long period of time, can they be accused of loitering?
Depends on the space. It depends. I mean, really. I mean, it's all subjective, really. I mean,
this whole conversation started because we were talking about homeless people getting picked on by police.
Yeah, and I say they don't have a right to demean their ID unless they're committing a crime.
Hmm.
And okay, this is straight from ACLU's lawyers. Okay. And what it says is, what if law enforcement officers stop me on the street? It says, you do not have to answer any questions. You can say, I do not want to talk to you, and walk away calmly. Or if you do not feel comfortable doing that, you can just ask if you're free to go. If the answer is yes, walk away. Do not run from the officer. If the officer says you are not under arrest, but you are not free to go, then you are being detained. Being detained is not the same as being arrested, though an arrest could follow. The police can pat down the outside of your clothing only if they have a reasonable suspicion, i.e. an objective reason to suspect that you might be armed and dangerous. If they search any more than this, say clearly, I do not consent to search. If they keep searching you anyway, do not physically resist them. You do not need to answer any questions if you're detained or arrested, except that any place may ask for your name once you have been detained. That means once you've been detained, okay?
Okay, so they can detain you without arresting you and then ask you for your ID.
But you don't have to give it to them until you've been arrested.
That's correct. You don't have to present them with an ID. What you can deny them access to your identification unless they give you a reason why they suspect you of something. You have to be aware of what you're being charged from. Otherwise, it's more like a present your papers type of situation.
Is in the UK.
Yeah, Mole. And that's happened to me before. Like I had a stupid warrant out for a shoplifting when I was a kid, and I just never paid it. And I was standing outside the storage unit waiting on my girlfriend and her mom at the time to get done. Cop was looking for a shoplifter wearing a hoodie like I was. Pulled up, asked me my name or whatever, and I went, told him my name, and he knew me. I lived in a small town. He's like, oh, okay. And he's pulling away, and he was running my name. And I see him stop and back up. He's like, yeah, I know you're not the shop. I know you weren't stealing. We caught that guy, but you have a warrant out. Come on, dude. Get in the car. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't even show him my ID. I just told him my name. But that was good enough to get me arrested for a night.
and I learned during my teens it's a bad idea to creep up behind a copper, knock his hat off, shouting "Tig" and then run.
That's a real bad idea. A real bad idea.
Yeah,
Dad, I wonder if your wife gets upset by you telling stories about your girlfriend.
It was so. Oh no! It was just I was waiting on her, but. No, it was stupid. I shoplifted birthday candles so my friend could buy a Mountain Dew. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. It was retarded.
It's also if you deny a cop, I don't want to show you my ID. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to answer questions, and you can walk away. I mean, it's perfectly within the police officer's right to follow you.
Yeah, sure. They can do that all they want.
Can you imagine if it was a really annoying cop? You see all that you walk away and he's walking behind you going, come on, you want to.
That, I mean, anybody can do that though.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Now, is it good enough? Well, real quick, Batman, real quick.
Go on.
Say you're walking. Say you can't sleep and you're walking down the street at 3 a.m. and a cop sees you. Is that suspicious because it's 3 a.m.? Can he then just ask you for ID?
I don't see why. I mean, he can always ask you for ID. Anybody can walk up and ask to see your ID.
In my state, this is from the Illinois Legal Aid online. It says, is there a law that requires you to carry any ID card with you? If I carry an ID, do I have to show it to the police if they ask for it? If I don't have an ID, can I refuse to identify myself? The answer is there is no state of Illinois or domestic passport law. You cannot be forced to show an ID. You can be required to identify yourself only if the police reasonably suspect that you are in the process of committing a crime or committed a crime, and also you are in a public place. The police think that you are part of a crime, and the police tell you that they are the police. So
but if you look like you're under 18 and it's 3 a.m. in the morning, yes, he can ask you for your crime for your ID if there's a curfew law.
Oh, and I'm assuming if police will stop you,
they could try that. Yeah, they may be able to get away with that one.
I'm assuming if an American policeman stops you and says, "Yeah, I'd like to see your ID," yeah, we'll conduct an investigation into a spate of burglaries. You fit the general description, so I'd like to see your ID, and you refuse to. He can arrest you for obstruction of justice or impeding an officer in the course of his duties, or something along those lines.
So, like, you can refuse your name if the police are just making conversation or the police do not think you're part of a crime. So what I'm saying is, yes, if they suspect you and they can articulate a crime they suspect you of, then you do have to ID yourself. But for just walking down the street, they can't just stop anybody and be like, "Let me see your ID." They have to suspect you of a legitimate crime. They have to articulate what that crime is before you have to show your ID, is what I'm saying.
No, you actually, if they ask you, if you have, they ask you, you have to.
Okay. All that stuff I read that lawyers wrote is bullshit because you're right. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Hold on.
You don't.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You don't have to identify yourself to a police officer if you don't want to. If they have no other reason other than the fact that you're walking down the street, minding your own business. They're walking down the street the other way, minding their own business. He looks at you, doesn't like the cut of your jib, and decides to ask you for your ID.
What if you're standing in front of there filming the police station?
They still can't ask you for your ID. You're not doing anything. That's a constitutional.
Once again, they can ask you. Is that suspicious?
But suspicion is not a crime.
It could be a crime. Quick, Mole. It could be a crime if you're not allowed to film, and that's like if that city has laws or something.
You're allowed to film public property. As long as you're on public property, there's nothing they can do about it.
So I could walk into a federal building with my cell phone on, record the security where they're all hanging out. Like, that really sounds like a bad idea.
It is a bad idea, and I wouldn't try it. But I'm just saying, technically, you are allowed to film all public buildings.
No.
That's not true. You can't film inside a courtroom, can you?
Not inside of a courtroom. I said you can film the buildings. I didn't say you could film everywhere inside.
I'd like to see you do that with the Pentagon.
If you're on public property and you're filming a building, they can't ask.
I'm being serious, MC.
No, that's exactly where I was going. Try that at Area 51.
Yeah, no, fuck that. They're not going to ask you for an ID. They're going to ask you for a butthole and a metal probe.
There's specific rules and laws that prevent you from filming certain areas. That's like Area 51. And again, you're kind of splitting hairs at this point, because I mean, really, unless there's a specific law that you're violating or statute that you're violating, you have the right to deny them to see your ID. You have that right.
And you're protected by the First Amendment to film.
I have a question. We've seen it on many YouTube videos where both American and British police, but we're on about American police here, who are being videoed, try and force the person videoing them to stop. Do they have the right to do that, or have they got just as little right as your average citizen to stop filming them?
Yeah, the police officer? The police, you mean? Oh no, they're the police officers that are saying stop filming me.
They can't stop. They can't tell you to stop.
They have no right to do that.
We have every right.
Actually, it depends on the state. If it's a state where you have to ask. If it is a state where you have to ask, I was not done speaking.
Well, no matter
if it is a state where you have to ask to be recorded, then you can be arrested for recording either their voice or their picture.
Since when do state laws trump federal laws?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, what federal law were they trumping?
The First Amendment, the right to freedom of press, and taking pictures.
Once again, it depends on a lot of situations. A lot of people have a viewpoint of what the Supreme Court has authorized versus what it hasn't authorized.
You do have to make yourself known. You can't do it in secret. You can't do it surreptitiously. You do have to make yourself known, and you have to stay a safe distance away. And the Supreme Court has already ruled on that. It is not illegal in any state.
As long as it's a public. That is correct.
As long as you're public.
That is correct.
And we've lost Gay Jedi female.
Yeah, he'll be back. He always does.
You never know, he might bring your friend.
I'm sorry about that, Shorty, but you do not have to. They cannot stop you from filming them as long as you're safe distance.
Well, the question is.
Excel says that you're only correct in private settings.
No,
who's policing the police?
That would be in internal affairs.
And do you think they're doing a fair job?
I don't know. I'm not a police officer.
My guess would be no.
I told you, Vincent, they're combative.
No, that's all right.
What other organization can police itself?
Yeah, Vincent, we're a loosely held together gang of arseholes.
The military polices itself.
Sounds messy.
Well, there's checks and balances in order, right?
Well, there's checks and balances on everything. Yeah, there's even checks and balances on the police. I don't disagree.
But they tend to stick with their own more than anything.
They do, and the military tends to stick with its own as well when it comes to shove.
Says the military man.
So you get what I'm saying.
I'm not denying that exists. I'm not denying that there aren't ways that people sit up there and can abuse the system. The idea that somehow you're going to find a way that a system can't be abused, I think you're asking for something from humanity that never exists. I
didn't say I had an answer for it. I just said, but who polices the police? And I don't think internal affairs does a good job. I think they tend to look the other way a lot of times unless they.
There are independent when it comes down to it, right? Like for example,
I'm not a cop hater. Trust me, I'm not a cop hater.
Well, let's take this into the highest extent because just to show you an example of something, right? Who polices the police for like the FBI? All right, who polices the Justice Department? Technically, the police or the watchdogs of the FBI or the Department of Justice. All right, that's independent.
I would say
independent is Congress.
Okay, but besides that, we should get to police them, considering they're our employees.
Well, according to the Constitution, Congress has that authority. Now, if Congress grants that authority to you and me, then we can do it. But they haven't done that yet, and I seriously doubt they ever will.
Yeah, this is coming from military intel.
But don't you agree that we should have a right to police them and at least record them and make them accountable? You know,
considering that we're a representative government and Congress are supposed to be the representatives of the citizens, Congress overseeing the police is the citizenry overseeing the police. Technically, at least that's the way it's supposed to work. So, and whether or not it does work that way, if you want to remove any sort of injustice or imperfections from a system like that, you're going to have to remove the humans.
Right. Yeah,
pretty much. So, so that's is it a completely fair and just system? No. Is it but it's the it's the worst system except for every other one. Out there.
Right. So. It's not a horrible system, but it could be better.
I don't think it can be better.
You don't think it could be better?
Because humans are involved. I think it's as good as it's going to get.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah, but you're also a stubborn old man.
Okay, and?
That's just my point. You're a stubborn old man.
He's not stubborn.
He has a show called Get Off My Lawn.
I just said he's not
every time I see that, I picture an old man shaking his fist. Every time I see that, I'm like,
I see an old man sitting in a lawn chair with a shotgun on his lap.
Well,
that one works too.
Shaking the fist with a shotgun in it.
You're wrong. He's got the shotgun by his sides. It's a catheter bag in his on his lap.
Yeah, that one works too.
But no, that was who was it that stood up there and said that I should do the whole, get off my lawn should be a constant thing. Remember who?
I thought it was me.
Well, that's right. It was Jensen and Memes.
And you got a radio voice for sure, MC. I mean, you would make a great DJ or whatever the fuck they're called nowadays.
Are you kidding me?
No, seriously, you have a great radio voice, dude. For real, I think you do.
No, I don't.
I think
my voice is horrible, to be honest.
Well, everybody thinks their own voice recorded sounds retarded, but I think you have a great radio voice.
No, but it is interesting. Overall, Mole, you're correct. You don't have to show the ID. You are more correct than I was.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I just know a lot about that because
I don't think.
I don't like to see police abusing their power, and they do that a lot.
I think that when you say that they're abusing their power, I don't think they're abusing it as much as other people think that they are. I'm not saying that I haven't seen police abuse, because I have, but at the overall, I haven't seen it. Overall, I would say that 90%, 99% of the time that I've seen stuff, they are not abusing. And when it comes to a situation where I'm forced to give one side the benefit of the doubt or the other, then I'm going to side with police at almost every single time.
I'm on the cop side too. Like all these lefties are like, oh, they shot this guy, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever been in their shoes? Do you know how much time they have to react? I would like to see them people put in the same situation, like not the actual situation, but like a setup to where like.
But look at the state you live in.
What, Illinois? Yeah, it's a pretty crap state. But I'm just saying that people always assume that police are shooting these people and like getting off on it. Do you think human beings really want to kill another human being? No, they don't. They're scared for their life. They don't know what's going on. They have to make a split judgment.
Yep.
That quick,
Hey, MC, I've got to ask you a question. Those few times when the Black Lives Matter gang have gotten like a lone police officer or a couple of lone police officers and beaten them up. Would you call that police abuse? Because those cops are really getting abused.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think. I honestly don't think. After watching the Rodney King video, I don't think Rodney King was necessarily getting abused.
Think what I said. Police abuse.
Oh, I heard exactly what you said, Batman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could call that police abuse if you wanted to. yeah.
Because to be perfectly honest, I think this police should be protected from that kind of that kind of situation.
But I don't. Okay, once again, is it abuse? Yeah. Does that mean that the police need protection from it? No, they don't. Not necessarily.
Well, maybe I'm going a bit too far there, but. People there. No, fuck no, because I'm just starting down the road that leads to social justice. I'll shut up with that. Those times when you think
a Brit going down the road to social justice? No.
I'm just saying that probably 8 out of 10 times when people are up in arms because a cop had to shoot someone, that cop probably had to use force, and he was probably in the right. You know what I mean? They don't just go around shooting unarmed people.
And I think that generally, out of the other two, I'm going to sit up there and give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't necessarily like it, but generally on the other two, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. It's very few times that I won't give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right, but as a rule, I think most of the time they make the right decision. I mean, people don't know what it's like to be in their shoes. They have a split second to recognize danger and to react.
That's where I would differ with you from a slight extent. It's not that they made the right decision.
What do you want, Batman?
The decision that I don't think can make
the way these
bad one necessarily.
And now there's an
I didn't hear you. We can talk about this later, MC.
Being very nice about the police.
He's an ex-police officer, and I pulled him in so that they could ask him questions, and now he's awfully quiet. when he's not on his own show.
What you think about that?
He's never quiet on his own show.
I do, actually.
Do you think cops get a bad rap when it comes to use of force?
It's really easy to criticize someone when they have, like, less than 2 or 3 seconds to respond to a threat of violence.
Exactly, because you guys don't know what's going to happen. You have to take control.
Did you see that video where the Black Lives Matter advocate who was saying the police either just shoot people left, right, and centre? So he got put on that through that police training exercise.
Yeah,
and every single time he made the wrong decision. Literally.
And they ended up being the dead officer and the perp got away, right?
Yeah, or he shot an innocent person.
Because you have no time to you have no time.
1-2.
I think cops get a really shitty into this. Until you've been in their shoes, don't judge them. You know what I mean?
Well,
their job is fucking horribly dangerous.
They have an almost impossible fucking job. You take 6 months of training, and then you spend every day fucking taking calls to show up to crime scenes.
Right. You don't know if the next guy you pulls over is going to have a gun in his lap and fucking shoot at you as soon as you get to the door. You have no idea.
After so many years, how much shit have they seen? Like, is it really a surprise that cops... I totally believe that cops probably treat fucking black people different than white people, because I'm going to guess after all the encounters that they've had more problems with black people than white people by just a fucking shit ton.
Yeah. This isn't exactly the same, but I've been in jail before, and I'm not saying this to be racist. This is just the way it is. The black inmates cause 10 times more trouble for the guards than the white inmates do.
Yeah, I mean, it's people think it's fucking racist to point out, like, hey, this demographic is disproportionately criminal than this other demographic. Like, that in and of itself means absolutely fucking nothing. And it doesn't say anything about any individual. It's just, it's factually true. And I can't believe there's so many people that just try to explain it away. Like, no, it's a real fucking problem.
Yeah, because I've been on the cop side for a long time when it comes to that. They're like, oh, all these police shootings. I'm like, do you know what? I mean, were you in their shoes? Did you have they have split second to make that decision.
The number of fucking black kids killed by cops is not even like what 1/1000th of how many kill each other, or 1/100th.
And how often do they have a gun on them?
Well, from what I've heard, even in a justified shooting, a cop has to go through a shit ton of processing afterwards.
Yeah, they don't want to, and they're like, what it's really turning into is we're policing the areas that need police the most, like less.
Yep.
It's completely counterproductive, and
exactly.
The people it's hurting is other fucking black people, right? Like, you can't have a more racist fucking policy than what Black Lives Matter advocates for.
There's another thing I've noticed throughout life. The people who criticize the cops the most and say we should get rid of them are the ones who will cry for the cops the loudest if they weren't there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose my problems with the police aren't the police themselves. It's a lot of the laws they have to enforce. Right? You got to separate those two things from one another.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you do. And another thing is, if you have if you do say you're out on the beat, and you see a cop being overly aggressive or whatnot, a regular officer is not going to jump on his sword to call that guy out, because is he going to ruin his whole career? I mean, what happens the next time that officer is in trouble and he calls for backup and no one comes because they're like, fuck that snitch?
All right, I'm sure, has anybody ever had a bad day at work?
Yeah, everybody has.
Yeah, you see some shit. Now imagine having a bad day at work, but your job is to be a cop and show up at crime scenes all the time.
Yeah. Excel.
Right. Am I right about what Am I right about the way I was thinking, though? Is if a cop does see a cop that's out of hand, he's probably more likely to keep his mouth shut rather than fucking jump on his own sword.
What I was getting at about having a bad day at work. That's what it is. Like, they're going to see the guy being overly aggressive. Maybe they're going to talk to him later, but he's not going to fucking report the dude unless he does something just absolutely egregious and he has a history of it. Like, maybe he was just having a fucking bad day and he took it out on the wrong fucking person.
Exactly.
Well,
and you might need that guy to back you up someday, But if you snitch on them, everybody in the forces is going to be like, "Oh, that guy's a fucking snitch," and you're going to be on your own.
And crickets.
Well, I was just waiting. There's a lot of.
I was always curious about that. I always wanted to ask a cop that because I was thinking about that once, and I'm like, I bet you there's a lot. I mean, I bet you a majority of cops are good cops, but they get put into situations where they, it's either their career or fucking be a white knight and be ostracized and fucking lose everything,
I'm sure there's a decent number that would tell you that if it's a one-off situation where a fucking officer that he was on patrol with got out of line, he'd probably just talk to him. If it was repeated behavior, he might file some complaints.
Right, but I mean, if it's repeated behavior,
why don't you let one answer?
Yeah, obviously there's, in my experience, there may be. Considering you spend a lot of, like, if you're spending a lot of time around another person, right? And obviously you develop relationships, both good and bad, with that person. There is both a tendency to protect that person, and some cops just don't like other cops in a lot of cases, and they will sell another cop up the river a lot of times as well. It goes, the sword cuts both ways, but I will say that it being a fraternal organization, there is a tendency to take you're going to believe the cop before you're going to believe the perp any day of the week.
Right.
So yeah, there is a tendency to protect each other. But I mean, you could say the same thing for any profession where people spend a lot of time,
Yep. I bet the medical professions like that too, watch out for each other, fucking.
Well, we only have about 10 minutes left. I found something that's quite entertaining to end the show on. Jesse Ventura is debating on running for president in 2020. Really?
Great. He's already done it.
Is his running mate going to be a lizard?
The irony is the last time he thought he was going to run, he said he would only run if Donald Trump ran with him. That's incredibly fucking ironic.
Donald Trump is too old to run. You get out of breath after the fifth step.
Jesse Ventura is no fucking ripe tomato either, man. Like, have you seen his ass lately?
How old is he now?
Donald Trump's ass, strangely enough.
Dude,
not being gay or anything.
I don't know.
Jesse Ventura, how old is he? He's got to be in his 70s.
That's what I thought he was late 60s, but I thought he might be 70s, but I wasn't sure.
67.
That's close.
67.
Born July 15th, 1951. Height 6'4".
I was trying to think back to his wrestling days and what around what years it was. So that I thought late 60s. I guess I was right. So, hooray.
I mean, really, why not have Jesse Ventura as president? I'd just rather see 4 more years of everybody going nuts over Trump.
Right.
I think it'd be great if he won. Jesse Ventura becomes president. He opens up Area 51 for everybody, and we find out there's no UFOs. Finally, everybody will shut up.
Oh, and by that you mean we finally find out there's a Sasquatch?
But no,
Sasquatch. Who do you think keeps giving Mad Dodges presents at Christmas?
Aw, so cute.
But no, Jesse Ventura was doing that conspiracy show for a long time. I don't know if he's still doing it or not. So they would really be like it'd be like Alex Jones running for president.
Why do you think I mentioned Sasquatch?
Oh, Alex Jones should be his running mate. That'd be great. Ventura and Jones.
I don't know. The thing is, Ventura actually did win as an independent governorship. Like that, you gotta clap for him a little bit. That's hard to do. Probably even harder to do now.
I know who should be his running mate, and we all know him. And he has stated last night that he is running for public office. Bruni should be his running mate.
Oh shit!
Oh, Batman! I'm gonna.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna have MC send drones at you.
Oh. You were going to say you were going to hit me, weren't you? And
no,
then you realized that would just tell you that the
I'm
door's
gonna shoot
unlocked.
you.
The door's unlocked.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna shoot Batman, honey.
For real?
For real?
Did she have to sound so pleased?
Brilliant.
Sherardi has drone eyes. She can see where you're at, Batman.
She just said, if you do, I'm gonna tell Dad.
Tattletale.
There's a threat.
No one likes a tattletale.
Hey, MC, the last thing we're closing on, because we only got like 5 minutes left, is Jesse Ventura is going to run for, thinking about running for president in 2020. What do you think? Think he could beat Trump?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's not. He'll get less than 1% of the vote if he runs. Now, if he did 2024 and like rode the coattails of Trump, saying like Trump did some good things, but I'm going to do it better, I think he'd have a shot.
No, but
they would bring up his career in Minnesota, and it'll be over.
Jesse Ventura is a big Trump hater. It'd be kind of funny. It'd be kind of funny to see him try to.
When did that fucking happen? He also like went talking about like maybe socialism's a good idea or some shit. I don't know, man. He's always been batshit. I don't understand the guy.
When he was in charge,
he was awesome in fucking wrestling though. That was fucking pretty cool then.
he was a governor, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he was, of course, the governor of Minnesota.
Well, you mean he was?
And he ran on the. He did not run as a Republican or a Democrat. He ran on that.
Yeah, he was an independent.
Yeah, it was. What was the name of that stupid party from
the Reform Party?
The Reform Party. That's right. So, and he served out one tour and then he was gone. So and of course, he tried a number of different things and none of them really worked out the way he expected them to.
He tried to fucking run for president with Donald Trump. That's why I don't get any of this. Like, I'm not even going to go listen to what his reasons are for why he needs to oppose Trump so much. I don't even want to hear it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people who can oppose Trump on lots of different grounds. There's things about Trump that I personally despise.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like him that much. I was talking about this last night on the Insomnia stream. There was a thing as Trump supporters, aren't you sick of being lied to? And of course, Anna Kasparian was talking about sick of being lied to by Trump. And I was like, yeah, I am sick of being lied to. And I think that's why I kind of support Trump, like almost ironically.
Because the lies that he says are not lies so much as exaggerations.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit. I was just like, the people that are lying to me all the time are fucking you guys and your ilk.
The media is horrible. The media is what my biggest problem is. A lot of the problems that we have in our country right now are a direct result of misinformation by the media, giving people the wrong idea and the wrong impressions, and they believe things that are just not accurate.
It's storytelling with like I mean, they use fucking weasel words to get themselves like, you know, out of liability. They can't ever be accused of lying because they use some word that has connotations that it actually happened, even though it really just means they have no fucking clue if this is true or not. But they're print it in the paper anyway.
Some people say, I have heard people say, no, you haven't heard shit. You're just saying this because you want to say it. Some people accuse the president of, no, you accuse the president.
Yeah, they'll say credible sources say, and then they'll be like, well, what's your source? And then you find out it's not true. You're like, why'd you think the source was credible? And it was like, well, credible is a subjective term.
Well, hey,
you can read between the lines very easily in a news article.
No, it's all wrong. Everything's a social construct nowadays.
Yes, that's also true.
They do that as well, and that's how they justify it all. So overall, Trump's presidency, do I approve of what Trump's doing overall? Yeah.
If you just look at what actually happened, I would say there's like very little novel, and we just swung a little bit back in the other direction. Like not even a lot, like just a little bit.
I think that
better than we were.
the only thing he's truly accomplished, all right, the two big accomplishments that he has, in my opinion, are the tax cut and the peace in Korea. All right, he has pushed that dynamic, but that's the only real accomplishments, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say the tax cut combined with using the bullshit executive authorities that get to write laws by repealing certain. What are you laughing at?
I am laughing at the fact that our new friend can't handle the chaos.
Who can't handle the chaos?
Vince.
Oh,
Vince?
I'm just clamming up a little bit. That's all.
Oh, she's assuming that you're just being quiet because you're quiet once in a while. They were just accusing me earlier today of being quiet on the stream, like something was wrong with me. So don't worry.
I'll shut the fuck up, man. Vince, go at it.
No, I'm good. I'm fine. you guys are closing out the show. It's cool.
Yeah, it's almost over, dude. I could talk about the Trump presidency with you, MC, anytime. Maybe one day when I'm not at work in the morning, I'll just join your show and talk about my disagreement with Trump.
No,
we don't really talk about that shit on Pinoy Live, and we definitely don't talk about it on my gaming channel. So
yeah, I love you too. Shut up, now go.
Which, by the way, I'm gonna use this to help you fucking exit, Mad Dodge. I gotta get out of here, but in 1 hour, I'm going live on Tom Pinoy's channel. We got a special guest from Red Pill Religion coming on. I really have no idea what the fuck we're supposed to be talking about, because the idea we have a guest from Red Pill Religion on when I'm an atheist, just I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. But be there. It's probably going to be fun. And I said the stream, the title is "It's Not a Shit Show." It's probably going to be a shit show.
So piss people off.
I'm going to look this person up.
Oh, he's got like 3,000 subs, man. He's not tiny, just not big.
Oh, cool. That'll give me something to check out later. But yeah, my internet keeps cutting in and out, so I am going to wrap it up here. Tomorrow is another debate. We'll see how that goes. Not sure what we're going to be debating about. Sherardi canceled for the second week in a row.
Hey, I told you my husband does not have a goddamn day off until December. So we can't have the damn transhumanist argument until December.
All right. Good night. Good luck. And don't go to France. They're still burning shit there. Peace.